hold on just a second.
All right, the floor is yours, Commissioner Watson.
All right, thank you. Good evening. This is the November 16th, 2020 meeting of the Rochester City Planning Commission. We are meeting tonight under extraordinary circumstances. Our community, along with communities around the country and the world, have been observing social distancing and other health safety measures to slow the progress of the COVID-19 pandemic for many weeks. To allow normal or near normal operations of the city government functions to continue, the governor of New York has declared a disaster emergency and has issued multiple executive orders, and the city of Rochester mayor has issued several local emergency orders, which together authorize the holding of this meeting virtually, subject to waivers of certain requirements of the New York State Open Meetings Law and the Rochester Zoning Code. In addition, at a prior meeting, we amended the Planning Commission rules and procedures to allow us to conduct this hearing and to authorize by the governor's and mayor's emergency orders to waive other requirements that allow us to proceed with this hearing, as I will now describe. Primarily, these waivers involve the requirement of in-person attendance at this hearing. The emergency orders permit us to hold this hearing by teleconference with no in-person attendance, allow participant presentations and public testimony by teleconference, written public comments, both in favor of or in opposition to the application, to be submitted by email, by hand copy documents mailed to the zoning office, or deposited in a secure Dropbox located in the permit office of City Hall. The deadline to subject written comments was 5 p.m. on Friday, November 13th, 2020. The deadline to register to provide spoken comment was 12 p.m. Today, Monday, November 16th, 2020. Throughout the conduct of this hearing has been altered to some normal procedures. Many things remain the same. All the normal notifications for this meeting, including mail notice, publication, and posting of the notice, were followed. A staff report has been prepared for each application that, along with the application and other pertinent documents, has been presented to the commission members and posted online several days prior to tonight's meeting. Above all the normal timeframes for the applicant presentations and comments in favor or opposed to the application remain the same. And most importantly, the commission will hear, review, and make decisions on all the applications with the same diligence and use the same standards as required by the zoning code. Before we begin, I would like to explain the ground rules for this hearing. When a case is called, the applicant will be allowed 15 minutes to present their case to the commission. The applications were all posted on the City Hall website at least a week ago and were available for public review. All the applicants were advised to ensure that their applications were complete and include all information that they intend to present at this hearing tonight. As the applications is presented, staff will reasonably as possible identify and show pages of the application that the applicant is addressing in the presentation. Following the normal procedure, the commission members may ask questions of the applicant about the application. After the application's presentation is completed, staff will read into record any public comments that were submitted to the staff report after the staff report was completed. Posted on the website. The comments will be limited to 10 minutes if submitted by a neighborhood association, 3 minutes for all other comments. If reading of the submitted written comments will exceed the time limits, staff will summarize the comments to fit within the time frame. If multiple submissions repeat same comments, staff will summarize those comments, and public comments that were received in time to be included in the staff report will not be read at the hearing into the record. The public has also had the opportunity to register in advance to speak at this virtual hearing. After the comments have been read, the applicant will have 5 minutes to offer any testimony and rebuttal. At the conclusion of the applicant's rebuttal testimony, the case will be closed. However, if the commission determines that there is substantial new evidence has been presented by the applicant during the hearing, either during the original or rebuttal testimony, the case will be adjourned and held over for the commissioner's next announced hearing date in order to give public an opportunity to review and comment on that new evidence. After completing all of the hearings on the agenda tonight, the commission may elect to take a short break, which will be announced. After the hearing and break, if any, the commission will commence deliberation and vote on all applications, except any application that has been adjourned for another meeting date. Please note that if your case is approved today, written decision will be mailed to you within 15 business days. The decision will inform you of the next steps to complete the approval process. Before we begin the first case, please note that we are all volunteers, and I would like each commissioner to confirm their presence for the purposes of a roll call and establishing a quorum for the hearing, and to introduce themselves and to mention the quadrant in which they live. So I will start. Dave Watson, West Southwest.
Carrie, we still can't hear you. Brad Flower, South District.
Eugenio Marlin, Northwest.
Milton Pichardo, Northeast.
Marquita Williams, Mid-City.
Kimberly?
Yes. Kim Harding. I'm trying to blank.
East District.
Thank you. It's gonna be a long night.
That's okay. It won't be that long. Is that all? I think that's everybody.
Did we get you, Carrie?
Carrie.
Carrie Carroll, East District.
Thank you, Carrie.
My pleasure.
Okay, so we have all 7 commissioners here. So we have the first case, please.
Case number 1, file number E7-2021. The applicant is Linda Stango of the Rochester Housing Authority. The address is 55 to 99 Federal Street. The request is to construct 1 9-unit multifamily dwelling, 1 8-unit multifamily dwelling, and to consider an alternative parking plan for 2 spaces, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. We did not establish whether or not the commissioners had all visited the site. My apologies for that. Could we go down in order of your number? So right before your name, there's a number. Could we start from number 1? And if you could just say whether or not you had visited the site. Carrie, because I can't hear you, can you just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Okay, Carrie visited the site. Thanks for
Brad
that.
Flower has visited.
Kim Harding, I visited.
Eugenio Marlin visited.
Milton Pichardo visited.
Dave Watson visited.
Marquita Williams visited.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. So, Dave, if you wanted to welcome our applicants and then swear them in.
Okay, and who do we have representing the applicants?
I'm Lynn Stango from the Rochester Housing Authority. Sean Burr is here from the Housing Authority.
Yeah.
Jeff Perkins is here from Lero Group. They're the engineers for the project. Jason Sackett from Edgemere, as well as Stephanie Benson from Edgemere.
Okay, I will read the the affidavit for all of you, and all you have to do is say yes with your name for the record. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Lynn Stango, yes.
Sean Burr, yes.
Jason Sackett, yes.
Stephanie Benson, yes.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, the applicant may continue.
Thank you, Commission. This is Sean Burr, the Deputy Executive Director at RHA. Appreciate your time this evening. As you may recall, we have a project that we're working on, and part of that is Federal Street property that we own, and we're looking to redevelop. And we're here tonight to talk about the parking. And my subject matter expert at RHA is Ms. Linda Stango. So I will defer to her in the essence of time, and she can brief you on the project.
Thank you, Sean. As you may recall, we were before the commission a few months ago. I'm losing track of time, I think, like everybody else is. And we were then went to the city council, and we did receive approval to change the zoning district of the property from R1 to R2. So we're here today to go through the waivers that we need to keep the project moving along. Jeff Perkins will present those, but before he does that, I would like to say that we do feel that we do meet the criteria for the special permits. The proposed buildings will provide residential housing, which is consistent with the use in the area. We feel that the buildings are more architecturally appropriate for the neighborhood. Right now, if you recall, there's 8 buildings there that are split levels. They don't really address the street. They don't have a connection to it. Some of them face in to each other. Some of them do face the street. There's no porches. There's no designated outdoor space. We think overall the redevelopment will have a positive impact on the property value. We don't think there's any negative impact as far as traffic or other matters of public health, safety, or general welfare. The property will be maintained by the Rochester Housing Authority. We feel we have a really good track record of maintaining all of our properties. We have over 2,300 units in the city. We very rarely have issues with our maintenance. We also feel that the buildings are adequately served by public facilities and services. And despite the fact that we are demolishing these 8 buildings, we don't feel that it's a detriment to the neighborhood. We'll also be eliminating one of the parking lots, and we'll just have one larger parking lot. So Anna, if you could go to maybe page 26, that has the site and the landscaping plan. I think that would be a good one for Jeff to speak to.
Before we continue, as a point of order, I like to just disclose the fact that Ms. Benson and Mr. Sackett are partners with our company in a project that we have right now, and I can be totally objective in looking at this case. Just wanted to let everybody know.
Thank you, Commissioner Marlin and Tom Worth from the Law Department. There's no need, there's just a need to disclose, but there's no need for the commissioner to recuse himself from this matter. But thank you for the disclosure.
Was this the page you wanted me on?
Yeah, I think that's good. Jeff, you want to go through the waivers? Yeah, you got to get your phone. His mic wasn't working, so he's gonna, I can see him. I'm going to text them quick because I can't hear them. Can you guys hear them?
No.
Okay.
And Anna, I can't see your screen.
I can, Anna.
You can or you cannot?
I can.
Okay.
I might have pushed something that dropped you. So I'm gonna relaunch the meeting
Okay.
and try to see if I can get back on.
Okay.
Yep, I can see you now, Ann.
And Jeff said that he dialed in. Is there something that you need to do on your end to unmute him or?
Good luck.
Thanks, sorry.
No, not, it's Zoom. It's COVID. Blame it on COVID. I don't see anyone on the phone.
Press *6. Sometimes that's the issue.
He's showing us his phone.
That's so bizarre. Oh, you know what? You might. Okay, I think I have. Okay, *6 yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, success.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. All right, where do we want to start? We want to start with page 2, the waivers.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know if you wanted the site plan up to talk about it so people can see or just the waivers. Either way.
The site plan is probably the best, and then zoom in a little bit on it so that we can see it. And
So Anna, is there a page in the materials, in the staff report that you can reference for people to follow along on the staff report?
Yeah,
Or for the-
absolutely. So they're going to be reviewing the waivers, which are listed on page 2 in the 3 tables you see.
Yeah,
I'm going to be trying to find the site plan real quick.
okay, great.
Jeff, on the bottom of the page in the staff report, there should be a number. Can you tell me what the number is?
for
The
the
site
site
plan.
plan,
Yes.
hold on. a
Looks
second.
like 26.
Oh, that was the landscape plan.
Yeah. Which is good. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks okay. Oh, geez. All right. Anyways, going through page 2, there's a couple things. One was the 14-foot average setback for the front. And we made the porches, we moved the buildings forward so that the porches reflect that. You may want to go one drawing ahead of that, 1 or 2 drawings ahead of that. Go to C100. There you go. That looks good. That'll be fine. All right. So the intent here was to move the buildings. Perfect. Oh, we had it just perfect. We were concerned about moving the buildings too far forward, to closer to the street because of the size of the buildings. Because, you know, you've got smaller dwellings on either side. And when you move it too close to the street, it looks even larger than maybe you would want it to be. So what we did was we used the front of the porch and put the front of the porch on that line. The challenge with that, though, is that, we have a variance as a result. And so that was the thinking behind it. If need be, we can always move the buildings forward if this is not acceptable to you. We've been, fairly flexible in our design. So if this is a preference, you'd rather have it closer to the street, we can do that with both the larger buildings there. The next one on page 2, front yard parking. So you can see that frontage, the 14-foot frontage line dissects 2 parking spaces in the front. And so it kind of, the net effect is you lose one, you violate this. So what we did, and later on in the drawings, you'll see in the landscape plan, we put a little fence there and some landscaping. So it wasn't, from the passerby, it wouldn't feel like it was a problem with that. So we tried to address that issue, at least the appearance of it, with some landscaping on the landscaping drawing. And that takes care of the second. Yeah, so that we kind of took care of that with the second one as well in that category. Now there was some discussion about the need for a landscape island. So we talked about this, and you'll see in the parking lot there's a space that's hashed out with no parking allowed. We talked about potentially putting it there, but then we thought the accessibility issue was more important. So we decided to have more accessible lot spaces, given the people that might be living in this facility. The alternate parking plan. So this seems to be the issue at hand, I think. So we have 17 units, and the requirement is 1.2 spaces per 2-bedroom unit. And I'm not sure, there's what the code says and there's likelihood. We're not entirely convinced that you're going to fill that lot with fill it right up and meet this. But we're talking about 2 parking spaces that we can't comply with. So we took a couple looks at that, which type of plan or alternative parking plan element that could offset it. And we included the transit credit, we included the bicycle credit, and I think probably the most difficult one for people to get past is the parking out on the street. In this particular site, we've got about 360 foot of frontage, and with 2 cars, we thought that it probably wouldn't be an issue. Now that's our opinion, taking kind of a pragmatic approach, but that's what we were thinking when we put this together. But additionally, next to the entrances of both buildings, we added bicycle parking, 2 places for bicycle parking. And then as far as the RTS bus stop, not only do you have the bus facility there, but RTS has a stop at the corner of Main and Quincy Street, which is the next block over, basically. So, going to page, I think that's it. Was there anything else, Linda, you wanted me to cover on this?
I think it would be good to mention, and I'll mention it by just mentioning it so you don't have to repeat it, was that the city did change the alternate side of the street parking requirement. So now there's only parking on the west side of the street. So that allows for additional cars since there are no curb cuts on that. And I believe they did move the sign, no parking here to curb on the north side a little bit further north. So I haven't had a chance to actually go count the number of spaces. So I don't want to, say there's 1 million spaces there. There's certainly not 1 million. There's probably less than 1 million, but that certainly addresses some of the concerns that we heard from the neighbors to the south of us when we had our first meeting, was that the
Yes,
street was pretty congested.
This is Tom Worth. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yep.
but one bind we're in here is that for the alternative parking plan offsets, they say off-street parking can only be on arterials or collector streets, and this is Federal Street's not one of them. So that's one option that I don't think is available unless you have some on Main Street or somewhere that are within 1,000 feet.
We do have property that faces, would Cedarwood Terrace be a collector street?
I'll look at
Okay,
that while you do the rest of the presentation. Yeah.
thanks. I do think we meet the other criteria, of the alternate parking plan. I don't know if you have to meet 100% of them or just some of them, but I do think it was
Yeah,
great that this.
You only need enough to account for 2 spaces, so you don't have to hit all of the criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Lynn?
Lynn, you're muted.
Yes, I was. Thank you. We're all going to learn how to read lips pretty soon, though.
Anything else for your presentation?
We do have a meeting with Norm Jones on another project tomorrow that will be bringing this up, because I know the other concern from the residents was the speed of the cars on the street, which is certainly something that's, out of our control, but we want to see if there's a way we can address it. We're very appreciative of the change in the parking. I think that helps everybody on the street, and also helps with the congestion, because when it was turnover time for that hour or 2 hours, folks were parked on both sides, and the street is relatively narrow to start with. So, Anna, did we miss any of the waivers that we're asking? I don't think so.
Did you guys talk about the lot area? I mean, you don't necessarily need to address.
Oh, yeah,
everything.
that's the first thing. So even though this lot is nearly 1 acre, it's 0.93 or 0.94 of an acre. There's really not much we can do at this point to change that requirement. When we first started the project, believe it or not, we had 27 units on the site. So everything would have been, more exacerbated. And in our meetings with the neighbors, the Beechwood Neighborhood Coalition, we did take into account very literally what people concerns were. So I think by us, taking one building out, financially, we can still do it. We couldn't do it with any less on the site. The whole project, you may recall, is part of a larger project that has 53 units overall in it. The other units are scattered sites in the Beechwood neighborhood. So financially, this model works for us. We do want to maintain, our affordable housing. We have residents, we have folks that need it. So we do take comments seriously, and we feel that we've been really open-minded and have adjusted our plans accordingly. So that's all I would have to say. Sean, do you want to add anything?
No, just that we did meet with the neighborhood organization Beechwood and last week, and just gave an update on our project, and have been communicating with them all along. So it's important to note. And as Lynn mentioned, we do take their comments, your comments, and the neighbors seriously, and want to work together to make the best project we can out of this. So,
All right, that being said, we will, Anna, do we have anyone that needs to provide information?
Yes, so the staff report, the one that I was displaying on my screen, that was published and distributed on November 5th. So any public comment received before then was included in that document. Then any public comment received after that has been sent to the Planning Commission, and then I will read into the record for you all here now. And so the deadline for written comment itself was Friday, November 13th at 5 p.m. So this is one that was received between when the staff report went out and that deadline.
Okay.
This is from Maureen Dugan. My name is Maureen Dugan, and I am a Connected Communities volunteer. I am writing in support of Rochester Housing Authority's Federal Street project, which will provide much-needed, affordable, attractive housing units adjacent to the East Main Street commercial corridor. Connected Communities recently completed the comprehensive neighborhood plan, identifies the need for additional housing options in the catchment. The Federal Street project is specifically identified within the plan as an important planned development that will add to housing options without creating displacement. I'm also excited about the opportunities that this project will provide to residents without access to automobiles. This site is located near RTS headquarters and on an active bus line. And as the East Main Street Improvement Project moves ahead, I believe that residents will be able to enjoy a much more pedestrian and bike-friendly commercial corridor. I ask for Planning Commission support of the waivers that RHA is requesting. That's all I have for you.
Unmute myself. That being said, any other questions for the applicant from the commissioners? Hearing none, then we will close this case. And maybe we have the next case, please. Thank you.
This is case number 2, file number E8-2021. The applicant is John Claypool of Rochester Prep. The address is 85 St. Jacob Street. The request is to expand a previously approved charter school, Rochester Prep ES Elementary School number 3, from grades K-4 to K-8, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. As I failed to do this in the pre-meeting, would you all go in the order that you were numbered and let me know whether or not you were able to visit the site? And if your mic's not working, you can give me a thumbs up, Miss Carol. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Okay.
thumbs up.
There you go.
Brad Flower, I did visit the site.
Harding, I
Mark.
visited as well.
Eugenio Marlin, I did visit the site.
Milton Pichardo, I visited the site.
Dave Watson, I also visited the site.
Markiba Williams, I visited the site.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Dave, I'll give it back to you now.
Do you want to read the case, or did you already do that?
I read the case. If you wouldn't mind welcoming our applicant.
Oh, okay. Who do we have presenting?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Betsy.
Hi, good
ahead.
evening. I can't quite see everybody on my screen, but I know you're there. This is Betsy Brugg. I'm with the firm of Woods Oviatt Gilman, and I'm pleased to be presenting this application.
Anyone else, Betsy?
I'm the only one here tonight.
Okay, let me swear you in, and
Sure.
then we'll let you continue.
Great.
Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you are about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you may proceed.
Great. So I actually am here this evening. We filed this application for Rochester Prep by the deadline in October. It did get put on the agenda and came to you for tonight. We actually are not prepared to move forward with our presentation of the project tonight. So we had actually requested an adjournment, but it was already noticed. So we are here. What we'd like to do is actually make the presentation next month. We are aware that there's some history to this property. Rochester Prep has been operating, a public charter school here since 2016, when this board granted special use permit approval at that time. They are now planning some changes going forward. So we filed an application in connection with the plans to make these changes. Typically, when you guys see an application, oftentimes there's a site plan application that goes with it. There is no site plan application with this. So as a result, there really wasn't that review process of all the various seeker issues and that seeker coordination through the zoning office and the manager of zoning. So since filing that application, we have been working to provide information and address issues related to traffic, which I think are the kind of the primary issues that we know exist relating to this site. So we actually just need more time. After we filed the application, Anna worked with us to coordinate with Monroe County DOT, and I don't think we've actually gone to Traffic Control Board. There's just a bunch of different things that happened. There were some comments. We're trying to address the comments. We just need additional time. But as I said, since it was already noticed and it was on the agenda, we certainly are here to appear and hear any comments from the public. I would like to tell the commission that we have had engagement with the neighbors. There was a neighborhood meeting held end of October, and I think that went fairly well. We will next month be prepared to, answer all your questions, give you a full presentation on the proposed project, be able to address the traffic more thoroughly. We plan to have some of our neighbors also join us for the meeting next month. Unfortunately, I don't have a full presentation to give you, and I'm here to ask that you just keep this open and carry it over to next month. I think it's in the best interest of everyone to keep this application over. They provide a great service. They're serving lots of kids and families in the city of Rochester, and I think it would be in everyone's best interest to keep this open so that we can adequately present this application next month.
Okay, thank you, Betsy. Anna, do we have anybody that was signed up to speak on this application?
Yes, we have one member of the public who would like to share their testimony.
Okay, I think we will hear their testimony and then we will decide to whether or not we will hold or not.
Okay.
Okay. And who's that person? I can swear them in.
Yep. We have, yep.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep. You speak up a little.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Sharon Chandler. I am a neighbor at 52 St. Jacob Street, which is not far from the school. And my concerns are.
Hey, Sharon, let me swear you in.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that first, and then we'll let you present.
Okay.
Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, now you may proceed.
Okay. I only have concerns about the parking. Not for this year, but previous years, we've had problems with parking on both sides of the street during drop off and pickup. And sometimes the parents are blocking our driveways. I've seen a school bus get hit while it was parked. I've seen people get out of their cars because nobody wants to let the next person go by because of the parking and the street being so small. So there's been issues with that. And I guess our biggest concern is that we would want something done about that parking because we need to be able to get out of our driveway. That's one thing. But what happens if it's an emergency with first responders or anything? They're not going to be able to get up or down the street because parking on both sides. So that is one of our biggest concern, and whatever we could work out with the school as a neighbor, I am willing to work with them to do that because it is a need that we do need the school for our children, but we also need safety for the neighbors and those who are on that street.
Anything else?
No, basically that's what it is. Just the parking.
Okay, we will take that under advisement, and I'm sure you can get in touch with the applicant. They would I'm sure they would love to have you come to their
Absolutely.
meetings and participate in that whole process to reevaluate that parking problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just recommend, like, normally you make your decisions after deliberations, but given the circumstances here, I think it makes sense to have a motion and vote on whether or not to extend to next month
Hold on.
now, so that the applicant knows
Yes,
now rather than
later.
later. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to offer a motion that we hold this application until the next meeting or before, so that they have time to look at the parking issues and concerns that they're facing. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Milton. All right, any discussion?
Makes sense.
Agreed.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, that being said, 7-0-0 in favor of holding this application over.
Thank you very much. Look
Thank
forward
you,
to seeing you
Betsy.
next month.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you.
Have a good night.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Anna, do we have anything else that we need to do?
Nope, just the public testimony that we just received. So that's the end for case 2.
Okay, in for case 2. All right, I would recommend that we maybe take a little short 5-minute break to come back and deliberate on case 1. Is that okay with everyone? So I have 6:45. Let's get back together at 6:55. Give us 10 minutes to do whatever we need to do, and we'll deliberate.